between the Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people in the city important at both local and national levels. Whereas in recognizing the diversity and distinct histories and art practice of Aboriginal people of Edmonton, as defined to include status, non-status, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people.
Listening and hearing how people are inspired, like how they bring it out and how they bring it out into canvas, how they bring it out in performance, and it's neat.
So really this whole conversation is about finding that solution. We're not here to tell people how they need to change to engage with us. We're here to listen to hear what we need to do to change to engage.
National, provincial, even urban organizations are coming together to change their policies, to change the way they are working with First Nations and Aboriginal people. And so just hearing that side is an acknowledgement of reconciling the relationships between our organizations and our First Nations communities.
The question, why I live here, what's special about this place, and every community has its founding myths. And the founding myth that, people through hard work traded some furs and built a city here doesn't quite tell it authentically. It doesn't go deep enough. Because telling those stories respectfully, and this is another gesture of reconciliation, the work that we're doing, we have a living history museum called Fort Edmonton that started telling the story at the fur trade, and it's just signed a memorandum of understanding with Treaty 6 with Grand Chief Marshall to tell the story in a much more respectful way that starts with pre-contact and respects the richness of many different Indigenous traditions that have gathered here over time.
This is one of my first events here, and from what I understand, this is the first event of its kind here with Edmonton Alberta Arts. So I found that was very, very important, so that they start making those kind of connections with the Aboriginal artists of Edmonton and area. So
one of the things that I would ask everyone here, and through the next 2 days, as we do our deliberations and we have our meetings, let us, all of us, take care of these elders and the other elders that are joining us.
When I teach art to my class, I always say, your eyes are like the lens of a camera. It's great to have such visions and such dreams that we put into our regalia, our beadwork, our dances, our songs that tell the stories.
Today we are looking at all the sorts of things we have at the Makerspace that include technology tools and also resources that you can use at the library. I would say this is almost a learning hub for artists as well. So a very creative space. We encourage all sorts of makers, whether you're an artist in music or maybe you're an artist in the visual communications area. You can come in here and either make your own models, you can make your own music, collaborate with other people, and essentially make all sorts of things with materials that you have. We have a lot of people that love to come in here and actually express their own culture or show off their history in the makerspace. So we have people coming with different projects, bringing in their own artifacts. We have negative scanners. We have books that you can print out and bind. You can make all sorts of things to maybe showcase maybe your history, your culture, and also make new things such as music, media, and so forth.
When I think about Indigenous arts here in Edmonton, I think we have to have that grounding. We have to have a place of beginning.
One of the things I keep encouraging them is that there's room within the art field for your vision.
National TV series, it's just huge. I mean, I never knew how to do it, and I was when I was first learning, I was just like a kid, right? By the time I did the second one and the third one, I could do it with my eyes closed. We've done 5, now we're going for a 6th one. So it was a learning thing for every which way. But you know what was really the beauty part was everybody expressing the frustrations and the challenges that we have. And it was nice to hear it from all over the place.
And there's always a kind of a disconnect of the time that I spend in my office as an administrator versus the time spent that an artist is either making art, writing songs, working on paintings, whatever it is. And there has to be a bridge between those two things, between funding, communication, industry trends, and basically any kind of problems or issues that arise on both sides. It's normally, I think, the artists that have the most to say to the administrators, because the administrators are kind of in it all the time. So I think it's a really, really valuable thing, and I think it should definitely continue.
I run a youth training program out of Edmonton, and it focuses across the performing disciplines, so theater, music, film, and dance. And although these departments are pretty separate, we work together as a team on a production. And the talent coming out of our younger generation is we have to get on board. You have to harness that. You have to provide outlets for that. You have to do it because it's so good. I've never seen actually such good young artists before in my life.
My tongue shaped the sound of his home. Italian, Swedish, Swahili, Inuktitut, Cree, Ojibwe. They say a language is lost every 14 minutes. I never once dreamed that I could lose the word home between the slicing of cheese and the word friend in the rotisserie oven. Leftover scraps of ancient lands to be taken out with that day's trash.
Alberta Aboriginal Arts provides a platform for Indigenous artists and to work the way they want to work, and to, as much as possible, to encourage collaborations and pushing envelopes, pushing the boundaries of what people conceive of as Indigenous arts.
Even the previous administration of the province was starting to talk about it. I have high hopes for the new administration of the province to begin to work on issues like education, issues like infrastructure and sanitation on reserves, that fundamental equality around quality of life and the conditions to have a successful and prosperous life, that there will be no inequality between Indigenous Canadians and non-Indigenous Canadians. When we reach that point, that will have been a massive moment of reconciliation, and we are far, far away from that right now.
And I just want to assure you all that this is the beginning and not the end of anything, that we have taken your words and your insight, and we will build on those and come back to and continue to talk to this community and more as we develop our better understanding and connection to Indigenous artists and Indigenous arts organizations